Woo! We're live. Let's go. Um, I always do the same thing, and I got to do better about this. But anywho, today I need y'all to come on in, chat with me. Again, my name is Antoine Chambers of Antoine Chambers Consulting, and we're about to get this party started. Um, Let me make sure I can see my comments on here. All right, so let's go. So today's topic is I quit. And I'm going to talk about it. If you're going to hang out with me, please say I'm going to hang out with you. Just post it in the comment section. This will be about 10 to 12 minutes. Let me know that you're here. You never know what I'm going to do on these lives because sometimes I switch some things up. So if you're going to watch and you have a moment to stick with me, post that you're going to be here, and we're going to talk about it. This is going to be a very transparent conversation, and I need you to see yourself in the conversation. I need you to see yourself leaving this conversation feeling like life is, is great. Life is better. So the topic is, again, I quit. I quit. And I'm going to give you a backstory about me, which is a matter of transparency, and it's a matter of making sure that I, as a person, do better. So historically, I've had to realize that I quit. There have been times in my life where I have been uncomfortable, and because I have been uncomfortable, I have chosen to quit. Because I've been uncomfortable, I have chosen to quit. The problem with this is I often quit things that I know that I should continue, because they are beneficial to my life. And sometimes I quit things that I should have never quit. So in my life, there have been times where when the moment that I get distracted, or the moment I get annoyed, or the moment I get like, this is just not my bag right now, I will quit. I will give up. And when you give up, there's some internal things that you have to deal with to stop giving up, to stop quitting. Now, there is a time where it's good to quit. And that time is the moment where you quit quitting. Your life is a journey. Your life means a lot. Your life is a process. And the more often you quit on your journey of life, the less you get accomplished. And if you are a person that feels like there's much more to your life to accomplish, you have to figure out how to stop quitting on the things that you need to do to succeed. So when I quit in this season, I am seriously at a moment where I'm going to stop quitting, or I'm going to quit quitting. So that means that I am going to see things through to the end. But that also means I'm not going to commit to things that I can't see to the end. So when I quit in this season, I'm quitting in this season from a mindset of I can't continue to halt my process or halt my progress because I'm choosing to quit. So with this in mind, many of us quit. You've quit jobs, you've quit relationships, you quit friendships, you quit just a number of different things. We have all been there. I was recently having a conversation that really triggered the fact that no matter how great I have been in my life, there have been seasons of being a quitter. When it gets too difficult, it's like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna quit. And again, if you're going to hang out with me, make sure that I know that you're here. Say something, drop a wave, click the like button, share it, or whatever. But we're going to talk about empowering ourselves to quit quitting. How do I empower myself to quit quitting? And then so the first thing that I had to ask myself is has my consistency in certain areas of my life been to quit? So a lot of us can be consistent in things, but sometimes we don't realize that consistency is not always a positive thing. Sometimes the way we are consistent is a telltale sign that we're not ready. So sometimes the way that we are consistent is a telltale sign that we are not ready. So if you're consistently being negative, or if you're consistently stopping your progress, or if you're consistently giving up on things, that consistency is not beneficial to the progress that your life needs. Thank you, Monica. I knew I wasn't alone. So when you quit in this season, you have to change your consistency of how you quit. The only thing that it is okay to quit is to quit quitting. You have to put yourself in a mindset that says, let me go back. So my initial statement was that I had to figure out why I was quitting. What was causing me to say that, I'm good on this, I'm about to stop, I ain't tripping, let me roll. Then I started to look at this some more, and I'm like, well, why why get into something, and why commit to something without certainty that you're willing to see it through? Because this is the challenge. I dealt with this I think yesterday, and I was like, man, like, you have to have such a great why to continue that quitting doesn't seem like an option. So when you do what you do, you have to say, well, why am I showing up to this place each day? Why am I in this relationship each day? Why am I paying these bills? Why am I being around these people? And if your why is strong enough to continue, you continue. So if you're like, if you have to ask yourself, well, why am I in this relationship? That means that you have not set in your mind that this relationship is enough to continue, and you quit. So before you put yourself in position to become a quitter, you have to make sure that you understand why you're getting into things. Sometimes there's things that we should have said no to at the beginning, but we're like, well, I'm gonna just see how it goes. And then you see how it goes, and then you end up quitting. And now this is the thing, everybody quits at something. Everybody gives up at some point. Everybody is like, this is too much. Everybody doesn't quit a job. Everybody doesn't quit a friend, doesn't quit a relationship. We've all been there. But is your consistency quitting? Or is your consistency pursuing the greatness within? So each day I'm in a process in my life of becoming the greatest version of me possible. But I will never become the greatest me possible if I don't know why I'm trying to become the greatest me possible. So every day I'm exploring my life, and then I'm like, well, I want to be great today, but what's causing me to desire to quit? Now, sometimes we want to quit when stuff gets hard. And when those situations get hard, we have to say, well, why is this worth staying in? Why is this worth committing to? Why am I doing this? Because when you understand why you're doing something, and it's a meaningful reason for why you're doing something, it's a lot more difficult to stop. It's a lot more difficult to quit. So in a recent conversation I had, I'm like, yo, like, internally, I know that I am quitting for these 4 or 5 reasons. I know I'm giving up. And then when you really think about it, you have to understand that when you quit, it's not just saying, okay, I'm done. Sometimes it's a matter of saying, I'm giving up. I'm giving up on me. I'm giving up on these efforts. And let's be honest. Some things you should quit. Some things are just not the right situation. But sometimes we quit because we don't want to endure. There's a quote that says, no pain, no gain. And in some situations, that is very true. Sometimes you have to endure some rough times. You have to endure some pain. You have to endure some sorrow. You have to endure some things that are not pleasant in order to get where you're going. But for me, and I can only speak for me, there have been some times where I quit when it got uncomfortable, not when it became unbearable. So I quit when it became uncomfortable, not when it became unbearable. And there's a big difference in those two things. And you have to admit to yourself if you are quitting things when it's uncomfortable or when it's unbearable, because it's reasonable to quit something when it's unbearable. Like today, I was doing my morning walk, and I'm like, Once I got home, I did something stupid. I decided to walk and I just put my shoes on, didn't even put no socks on, which is one, is gross. Always wear socks. If you wear some socks. Two, by the time I got home, I was like, yo, my feet hurt. So I'm like, yo, I can't do this anymore because my feet hurt. But it wasn't to the point of unbearable, it was to the point of uncomfortable. So if you're hanging out with me, you post chat, I will stop when it's unbearable. I will stop when it's unbearable. But if it's just uncomfortable, you got to press through. Now, when it's unbearable, when it's unrealistic, when it doesn't make sense, it's okay to quit. But stop quitting when it's just uncomfortable. Like lifting weights is uncomfortable. It becomes unbearable when the muscles rip so much that you are in constant pain. Some of us are not giving up when we're in pain. We're giving up when we think there's pain ahead. It's like when the kid goes to the doctor and has to get a shot because of their experiences in the past. They're like, I'm starting to cry because I'm about to get this shot. I know how it feels. But as you get more shots, you realize, okay, you know what? That pinched a little bit. Sometimes because you have gone through the process and you have grown in the process, sometimes what used to be unbearable just becomes uncomfortable. And then as you continue to grow, what comes uncomfortable becomes a new place of complacency and comfortability. So if you want to be comfortable in your life, you have to say, I got to stop quitting somewhere. This is the thing about being great. This is the thing about being the best that you can be, is that every level requires new lessons. Every level requires new understanding. So what happens is if you want to be a millionaire, if you want to be a billionaire, but you are struggling to become a thousandaire and you're struggling to put the effort forth that requires you to be on level one, if you can't endure to get to just the level one, you're not cut out yet to be at level 10. So when you are experiencing life, you have to say, I'm going to level up, but I'm not going to skip levels because I'm in such a rush to get to the top. Because by just being in a rush to get to the top, you're missing things. But even as you're trying to explore getting to the top, if you keep quitting before you even hit level one, you're going to find yourself in a position to where you are not only uncomfortable, but you are unhappy. A lot of our unhappiness and a lot of our struggle to really pursue joy and have joy is because we've been giving up instead of enduring the uncomfortability. Stop giving up again when it's uncomfortable. Give up when it's unbearable, when it's no longer an asset to your life, when it's no longer realistic, and find your why in what you do. If you find your why in what you do, you will succeed, because that why will be that burning thing on the inside that says, I have to keep going. I cannot stop going. If I stop going, level two gets further away. Imagine this being level one, this being level two. Every time, now this is funny because level two doesn't move. You move down. Level two doesn't move up. What this means is when you Torin, man, you're talking about me. I've been struggling this. I struggled this week. Hey, I thank you for sharing it. And if you're watching and you've been struggling, it's okay to admit it. Like for me this week, the only reason this week hasn't been the struggle that other weeks have been is because I said I can't give up. I quit on quitting. So when you quit on quitting, your workload gets a little bit harder, but your success gets a little bit greater. Your efforts get a little bit harder, but your joy gets a little bit greater. You have to be able to push through. Again, you push through when it becomes uncomfortable. But if it becomes unbearable, whether it's a relationship, whether it's ministry, whether it's a job, when it becomes too unbearable let's talk about unbearable. Unbearable is when it starts to diminish who you are. When you become less of who you are, that's when it's unbearable. When you can't wake up in the morning and do your basic stuff, that's when it becomes unbearable. Monica, that energy is gonna come. Like keep listening. I got some stuff for y'all. Next week I'm starting a whole new series. And I haven't been doing series, but I'm starting a new series next week, and I'll share that with y'all on Monday. But yeah, don't stop until you have this self-realization that the effort that I'm putting in and the things that I'm trying to do is unrealistic for where I'm at. Because sometimes we are trying to reach millionaire goals again, but we haven't even made the first 1,000. Now, it's okay to have a goal of 1 million. It's okay to have a goal of a successful marriage. It's okay to have a goal of a successful career. But if you're not killing it on the base level, you're not ready for that. Because for some of you that are just coming in, each level requires new lessons. Each level will have you taking new L's. And if you keep giving up at level 1, level 2 is just not going to happen. So when you create your goals, don't create goals that are so huge that you're like, you know what, I feel like quitting every day. Again, quit when it becomes unbearable, not when it becomes uncomfortable. So if you've been uncomfortable this week, you have to look at yourself and say, or if you feel like it's unbearable this week, you have to do a self-reflection and say, well, is it really unbearable, or am I just uncomfortable? So I want to quit because it's not going the way that I want it to go. I want to quit because I don't like the way it feels. Sometimes greatness doesn't feel good until you hit the point where all of the things that you were working for start to work together. And for we know all things work together for good to them who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. You have purpose on this earth. You have purpose in your life, but you will never fulfill the purpose if you keep giving up on what you have to do. It will be difficult. It will be tough. It will be exhausting. And sometimes it will meet the moment of unbearable. But when it meets that moment of unbearable, you have to seek God. You have to spend some time in prayer. You have to figure out if what you are doing is what you were meant to do. So when I say I quit, I seriously quit. I quit on quitting. I will no longer allow myself to quit on me, because where I should have been today is not where I'm at, because I've quit too many times before now. But when you see me a year from now, when you see me 2 years from now, you'll be like, yo, this dude is doing this. This dude is here. And the reason I'm here is because I took each level in stride. When it got uncomfortable, I breathe and I move forward. When it gets unbearable, I pray and I move forward. Stop quitting on you. Stop quitting on others. If this video has helped you, share it. If you know someone that has been struggling, or you want to encourage a friend of yours, tag them. Don't let what I'm sharing with you stop at you, because if you do, you are selfish. Don't be afraid to allow people to have access to what helps you be great. Don't let people be minimized because you have access to things and you don't want to share because you want to reach it first. So share the video, like the video, post your name in the comments so that I know you watched. If you already commented, perfectly fine. But if you didn't comment so that I know you watched, because what's going to happen is when you comment, you are going to be added to my prayer list. My prayer list for your success, my prayer list for your hope, your joy, and you will rock out the rest of this year. Next week, if you join me around the 12 o'clock hour, I'm going to be talking about a topic that I believe will bless your life. It's going to be a topic that empowers you. It's going to be a topic that pushes you through the gaps in your life. It's going to be a topic that helps you end 2020 on top. And I'm not going to share every step of the way, but I'm going to help you reset how you think about your journey, so that when you enter 2021, you're going to be like, no matter what 2021 holds for me, I'm winning. So I thank you for watching. Make sure that you post your name or tag a friend so I know who to pray for, because I'm praying for those who watch, but I also want to make sure that I keep a tally of who is rocking with me so that I can rock with you, because I believe in blessing people. So as you watch, you never know when you're gonna get blessed. There's people on here that know that I believe in blessing people, and I may want to bless you. So make sure that you're here. Make sure that you say something so that I know you here. Taquisha, yes, definitely restart. Like this one had some energy. So I'm about to roll out. I love you all. I pray that this helps you and pushes you forward. Quit quitting. Peace.